met Gamal out through mutual friends. We met out at a nightclub, actually, and just instantly I was attracted to him. You know what I loved was that he was really attached to his mom. And I thought that relationship was so amazing. And I thought, if that's how he treats his mother, you know, he's gonna be amazing to me. Gamal and I dated for roughly a year before I found out I was pregnant. And it was somewhat of a surprise. It was nothing that was planned. And once I heard that little heartbeat, I was instantly in love. You know, it started turning into one of those things where if my mom babysat him one night when we went out, then his mom had to babysit him the next weekend. My mom wasn't gonna get more time than his mom. As Gavin got older, it turned into having to account for where we were, or how long we were gone, or how long we were gonna be at my mom's, how long we were gonna be at my friend's house. Is that really where you're at? I told Gamal that if I was ever gonna be able to move forward with my life, I was gonna have to get a restraining order against him because he was crazy. And he pulled me off the couch, and I hit my head on the floor, and he drugged me into the kitchen and got on top of me and started to strangle me. Gamal was always worried about if I was dating and who I was dating and who I was with. And that's what the argument was about. He wanted to know where I had been while he had Gavin over the weekend. He took my phone and wanted to look through the phone. And he put the phone in the bathroom, in the hallway upstairs. After he put the phone down, we began to argue about who I was talking to on the phone, and he started to hit me. Gavin came running out of his room and asked, "What are you doing, my mom?" When he saw Gavin, he picked him up and he took Gavin to the master bedroom and said, "It's okay, son, just stay here." And he put the TV on for him, and his demeanor towards Gavin was very calm. I mean, it was daddy. I was just like, okay, at that point I knew something really bad was gonna happen today. He came up towards me slowly to where I was backing myself into the corner in the hallway. He punched me in my arms and more in the torso, and I mean, I'm just shocked. At that point, he stepped back and he punched me between my eyes with all his might. And I fell to the floor. And when I looked down, I saw that there was blood everywhere. There was blood coming down my face, my mouth, everywhere. Gamal pulled out a gun from his waistband. And he said 3 things. He said, we were all going to die today, that we would die as a family, and that nobody else was gonna raise our son. I knew I needed to call 911. I had to find a way to get to my phone. So I went into the bathroom that he had left the phone in, and I rinsed my face and I dialed 911 to let it just play so that they could hear what was going on. And as I walked out of the bathroom, I yelled really loud, "Look what you did to my face," so that 911 would already know I'd been hit. And at that point, I realized how bad it was. I mean, it was split down to the bone. And it seems like immediately there was a ring, the doorbell rang. And Gamal said, "Did you call the cops?" And I told him, "You have my phone. There's no way that I could have called the cops." So he takes me at gunpoint into the spare bedroom, which faces the front of the house, and the cops were outside. And Gamal opened the window and he waved the gun, and he told the cops that they had till the count of 10 to get out of there, or that he was gonna kill his family. When we got downstairs, there was a gas can to the right of the staircase, and our kitchen was to the right, the living room was to the left. So Gamal began to douse the kitchen in gasoline. At this point, I am just screaming, "Don't do this," with Gavin upstairs by himself. "Let me get the baby." Gamal is just telling me to shut the F up, shut up. And he insisted that he was not going to get Gavin, just to shut up. I had to make a move. This was the only way I was gonna get him away from Gavin. I knew I was gonna die. I knew I was gonna die, but I also knew I was gonna die saving my son. So I ran, and I made sure to slam the door behind me so that I could create a barrier and give me a chance to get ahead of him. When I got to the end of the driveway, I realized the cops were gone. I had seen them what seemed like 30 seconds prior, and they were gone. I'm running, and I hear a very loud bang. And I know that it felt like rocks were being thrown at my back. I was shot once in the arm. I was shot a couple of times in my back. I was shot twice on my side. I was shot in the buttocks. But I just kept running. I just kept running until somebody would help me. And I told her a couple more times just to call 911. But I didn't want to leave until I knew they had gotten Gavin out. And that was the last thing I remember saying to her before waking up in the ambulance. One of the detectives came in to see me a couple of days after I'd been awake. And the first two things that I had asked were, "Where's Gamal?" Because I was afraid that he was going to come back, and where Gavin was. I was told that they were both deceased. And I didn't believe it. I had to be told numerous times that they were both gone. I was told that Gamal was able to let off 11 to 12 rounds. He shot Gavin once in the head. And he shot himself right here. I survived because I have to keep my son's memory alive. I have to keep his name alive. My family needs me. I can't imagine what my family would have gone through to lose both of us. Gavin was an amazing child. It's difficult to try to sum him up in a couple of words, but I tell everybody he was really special, and I don't say that just because he was mine. He was smart, he was gorgeous, he was really intelligent and full of life. He was just a vibrant, vibrant little soul, full of life.